Hello and welcome to Game Week 13 predictions here at the Stakehouse. I'm Colin McCabe. I'm joined once again by Data Demon Lucas
Demon.
Kaczynski. I'll give you a new name every time, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Yeah, looking forward to this week and also quick turnaround because there's football starting again on Tuesday, right? We're in
Yeah.
business. Well, not in business end, but it's busy end.
Busy end for the pod. I mean, looking at the Christmas period, we're going to be recording a lot in terms of different game weeks, meshing some together and different things like this. But for all those boring Christmas family hours, don't worry, we're here by your side to make
Yeah.
sure that we're coming to you with plenty of content on the latest stuff happening and, of course, tips and predictions, which again went pretty well for us last week. I think it marked 4 out of 5 weeks of very, very solid profit. So happy days, and without further ado, let's jump straight into what we have this week. It all starts with a South Coast belter on Friday night, Brighton versus Southampton. What have you got?
The Seaside Derby. Uh, I think Brighton's gonna win that quite comfortably. I think I got him priced up on my model as being 1.13 goals better than Southampton. I mean, I can't see Southampton getting a result here, to be honest. So, yeah, I haven't really got a bet on this, but yeah, I think it's going to be a comfortable Brighton win.
I agree. I was looking for any way I could find any betting angle to try and get them on side. There's just not really one
I
there.
mean,
They're heavy favourites for a
Brighton
reason.
are 1.38 to win the game,
Yeah.
so that's really short.
It is short, and the minute if you're backing too many 1.38s, just as a terms of general bit of betting strategy, it doesn't take too many of them to go wrong before you start ending up very much in the red. So just be careful with that overall strategy. You also find yourself maybe betting more and going above and beyond your points system because you see that the returns are so small. So it's a dangerous game to get into too heavily. But yeah, Brighton definitely going to win it for me. I think that they're in scintillating form, aren't they? Hörsler's adapting, getting more and more used to the Premier League, and I'm actually really impressed by him and his demeanour and what he's doing. I still stand by the fact that I think Russell Martin is a good manager and just needs to work with better players. I mean, they were actually really good against Liverpool. Like they just gave, I don't know if you saw it, but they gave away three of the most horrific goals that I've ever seen. Alex McCarthy in goal. He must have been on a bribe. Like he was dreadful. Two of the goals that he gave away. And the third was an incredibly soft penalty. So I feel like he's just kind of banging his head against a brick wall with this side. Southampton need a manager that's going to come in and kind of set their stall out and be difficult to beat. That's not what kind of manager he is. He's effectively an English tiki-taka manager, and he can work with.
English tiki taka. I haven't heard tiki taka used for 5 years, probably.
Well, there you go, mate. Bringing it back to you. And look, ultimately, he can manage with a lot better than he has. But the fact of the matter is, he doesn't have very good players. I mean, if you try and work out, take apart Billings, what other Southampton player would get in the top 15 Premier League sides? You'll start to struggle in terms of finding one that can fit. And
I mean, half the team will probably get into United's side, no?
yeah, I mean, no argument there. But let's pose a serious hypothetical question if that's what we're going to do. Anywho, we both think Brighton. If you want a scoreline from me, I'll say 3-1. I think it could be something along those lines.
Pedro, get him to your fantasy team.
Good shout. Brentford, Leicester.
Yeah.
Going the Brentford top. Wonder what you were going to say.
Easy win for Brentford, to be honest. I'm going to continue with the play I've been tipping a few times. I've tipped it twice. Once it came in once, and it was still profitable. Even if this doesn't come in, those tips will be profitable. So I'm backing both teams to score first half, which you can get around odds of 4.
This is your new favourite bet, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, my lights.
Hey, the light bulb's back. Way.
I actually changed the light bulb. I finally changed the light bulb because I won a few bets.
That's a throwback moment for anybody who's just listening and can't see. Lucas's light bulb is just flashing in the background, and
I actually can't get it.
it's the same thing that happened in our intro video. It hasn't happened since, but here we go. We've got a constantly flashing light bulb here. Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like There we go.
Oh,
It's
there we
back.
go. We might be back in business.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like Brentford at home is solid, but still a bit leaky at the back. This whole new manager bounce, like, I don't really buy into it too much, to be honest. Like, I feel like Brentford are more than capable to beat Leicester. I think Brentford will beat Leicester, but they will concede. I feel like both teams score first half. Odds of force pretty high, so I'll take that.
Van Nistelrooy, good appointment or not?
No, I don't think so. He's not proven to be a good manager. I think this thing is like these clubs always jump in for like players who are good players, but not necessarily managers. For example, Rooney, right? Awful manager, I'd say. Lampard as well. He managed like Derby, couldn't get him up when they had like probably the best squad in the Championship. Everton, Chelsea, etc. Now he's at Coventry. Like, I don't know. I mean, I hope he is a good manager. Hopefully not against Brentford. Maybe he becomes good, but yeah, I don't see the whole thing about getting in managers who are good players unless it's totally different. It's just a totally different role, isn't it?
Yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah,
he did okay in the Dutch league, and he brought Feel Good to United when he was there as caretaker, and I think he'll bring Feel Good to Leicester as well. Whether he has the tactical nous is another big question.
it's a
That I'm
big
kind of
job, Leicester. I mean, a team at the bottom of the table, right? He hasn't really had any experience with that.
no, yeah. This is
So
his first time moving into a relegation battle.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot out there. A few people were saying Moyes, but there wasn't. I don't know what else there. I know, right? But I don't know what else there really
Potter
was.
was linked, but that's a big
Potter was
step
lit,
back.
was he?
Huh?
He said Potter was lit.
Lit, yeah, no, linked.
Yeah. And I don't think that would have been a bad shot, actually. But in terms of this one, I think Brentford Leicester will be a goal fest. I think Brentford will probably come out on the right side of it, but it wouldn't surprise me. I think Bees, we know how they play at home. It's kind of a we'll score more than you attitude. Leicester have been involved in their fair share of goal heavy games as well, such as the game against Southampton, the game against Arsenal. Both of them were 3-2s. So there's definitely goals in this game for sure. I wouldn't put anybody off the goal lines here, but again, the market looks to have priced them reasonably right, so it's not one that I'm rushing to get involved with. But I feel like something like 3-2 Brentford here wouldn't surprise me at all, and that's the sort of way that I see this game going. Palace versus Newcastle.
You go first, mate.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately with Newcastle, like, just when you want to buy into them, just when you want to trust them, they put in a performance like they did against West Ham. I mean, I don't know if you were watching Monday Night Football, but Jamie Carragher is really bullish in the studio about the fact that Newcastle are going to batter West Ham. And then just before kickoff, David Jones asks Theo Walcott, can you make a case for West Ham for us to give them some hope? And he basically answered with one word. He said no. And cue West Ham.
I saw the video. Yeah.
Cue West Ham, comfortably winning after 60 minutes or whatever it was. And it was
To be honest, like I watched the first half. Not like I wasn't fully paying attention, but like first 10 minutes when Isak scored that goal and got this lad, I was like, whoa, okay, Newcastle are going to just steamroll this game.
Yeah.
And it ended up being 2-0. So, I mean, they won the XG battle like 1.54 to 0.77. But, yeah, I think it shocked everyone, to be honest. No one was expecting West Ham to do the business there.
But yeah, West Ham looked. I did watch it all, and West Ham looked fairly comfortable. I hear the XG battle went the way it did, but in terms of the game itself, West Ham weren't backs to the wall. They weren't,
Okay.
Newcastle weren't throwing the kitchen sink at it. Fabianski wasn't diving across making save after save. That's not how this game was playing out. So I just think the confidence, again, it was like almost with Newcastle, it's one step forward, two steps back. And I just can't buy into them at the moment. And
So what? You're going to back
I'm not
Palace
saying
at home?
this is not an official tip, but if you push me to choose a winner in this game, I think Palace will
Well,
win.
then get off the fence then.
No, I'm off
Like
the
you did
fence.
to me.
I'm well and truly off the fence. I'm saying Palace are going to win. I think
Okay,
Palace.
I thought you said it's not an official tip. Why don't you make an official one then?
It's not an official tip. It's not one I'm confident
Okay.
enough to put my money on. But the way that I see it going, I see this ending 2-1 Palace. That sort of scoreline. Palace have got some big scalps at home. They beat Spurs. Newcastle haven't performed particularly well away. I wouldn't be surprised at all. The fact that Newcastle are favourites for this game, I feel like Palace is a reasonable shout.
I yawned there because you were boring me.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, to be honest, like, don't really have anything this game, but yeah, I kind of agree with you. But I think it might be like a tight game, so I think it could be a draw, to be honest.
Okay. Forest Ipswich. I do have an official tip in this one for you. Same as I'm so boring, you can lead on first and give us something incredibly exciting.
I'm really bullish on Forest, right? They didn't do the business against Arsenal, but XG was actually a bit closer than the scoreline. Saying that, I don't have a bet this game, but I think Forest should win this. I think fairly comfortably, I'd say.
Okay, I disagree with you. So, Forest, defensively wise, have looked fairly mean all season, but I think there's signs of that coming to an end now. They've conceded 6 goals in the last 2 games, albeit against better opposition.
Yeah,
But
they played against Arsenal at home, right?
Yeah,
and also the goals were like some of the goals were just a bit like.
And Newcastle, but whoever it's against, 6 goals in 2 games is 6 goals in 2 games.
Newcastle was a bit disappointed in that.
Yep, and I just feel like Forest have been overperforming, right? They just have. They're not going to finish in the top 4 this season, right? So ultimately, they are due a down spell, and I feel like they're in the middle of it now. So the 6-1 aggregate scoreline over the last 2 games, and I just think Ipswich are starting to adapt. I thought they were really good against United. They play the 3-4-3 system, really, really well. They're a strong team as well. Like I think they bullied United in that game. The Lap is a quality player. I thought they were a real handful. They've just gone away to Spurs and won as well before the game against United. Probably deserved to beat United, and now it's ultimately I wouldn't be surprised if they go away to Forest and get a result here as well. So it is the first official tip of the game week, and it's Ipswich double chance at 2.2, which I think is a very reasonable price. So there you have it, first tip of the game week. I think Forest will win this game. I think it'll end up 2-1. Forest. I think Ipswich will win this game. I think it'll end up 2-1 Ipswich, something like that.
Okay, in that case, we might as well go head to head. I'll do Forest minus 3/4 at 1.96.
Oh, well, I mean, there you go. We tell you to back both of our tips all the time, and here you go. Now you've actually got to choose between us. So who's talking more sense, me or Lucas here? The model or the intuition, whichever you prefer. Wolves versus Bournemouth.
Yeah, look, I think Bournemouth having a really good season. I understand, obviously, Wolves beat Fulham 4-1 quite comfortably, but I still don't rate them that much, to be honest. I think they'll probably just a bit of an outlier of a game, to be honest. Saying that, Bournemouth are missing Semenyo. Bloody hell, Semenyo. Obviously, really good player. He's suspended, annoyingly, but I still think they have enough to do the business. Saying that, though, what I'm going to do is back them on Asian Handicap 0. So basically, if it's a draw, you get your money back. So a bit of insurance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, Bournemouth 0, you get a price of 1.8, around something like that.
So, it seems we're going head-to-head in 2 matches in a row then. I have an official tip again of Wolves win.
Okay.
So I think that the performance in the last one, going away and winning 4-1 in the style they did, was really impressive. Cunha is a hell of a player. I think Bournemouth are due a downswing as well. And my reasoning for this is Iraola has them playing a very high-pressing front foot strategy. Their first 11 is also very, very settled. They don't mix and match too much. It's generally the same side. And I think that as the matches start to pile up, I feel like they're going to drop off because I feel like their energy levels have to take a hit. They just do with the amount that they press and how much
Well, they
how
got
hard they
Tottenham
work.
after this. That's going to be a big game.
Yep, exactly. So Semenyo's another really important point. With him being out here, I just think Wolves 2.7 at home off the back of an amazing result and
2.7.
2.7 at home. Yep.
You don't even want to have a bit of insurance and go
No,
zero.
no, 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 no.
Huge handicap.
Some of us don't play, as safe as you. Some of us actually want to win a bit of money. So I'm going 2.7 Wolves at home to win because I feel like that's what they're not going to go out and play for a draw. They're going to go out
Right.
and play for a win. West Ham Arsenal.
Uh, I reckon Arsenal will probably win that comfortably. I got them priced up as being 0.89 goals better than West Ham. Look, I know you said West Ham played well against Newcastle, but I'm not convinced of West Ham at all this season. Can't see him getting a result against Arsenal, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, even Wan-Bissaka scored in that game for West Ham against Newcastle, so it's not something that's gonna happen
United legend, isn't it?
every week. Like it did feel a bit flash in the pan kind of stuff, and a bit of an odd result. With Arsenal, I was really worried for them against Forest. Me and you remember we doubled up on the tip on the spot like, on Forest to on the Asian.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, of course you don't. It was your idea. Anyway, it backfired a little bit. But what Arsenal did really well for me in that game is Arteta rotated for the first couple of times.
Yeah.
He started giving more of his squad more opportunities. He started with Rice on the bench. He started with a couple of other players on the bench off the back of the international break, and it actually gave them a new lease of life. And if he can rotate as well as that moving forward, and give more players more playing time, have more trust in his overall squad, can Arsenal go on that run to challenge? I don't know, but I think that is definitely the way that they've got to play forward. In this game, I think they'll win comfortably as well. I've got 0-2 as a scoreline. Haven't got an official tip, but again, Arsenal really can't afford to drop any more points now. Chelsea versus Villa.
Go on, your turn.
I think this is pretty straightforward. I still think this is a good time to oppose Aston Villa. They've just had a huge Champions League game midweek. The games are coming thick and fast. I still think Unai Emery prioritises Europe. I think that's more important to him. So I think that Chelsea will win this without a lot of fuss. I think 3-0, 3-1 Chelsea sort of scoreline.
Yeah, agree.
Okay. United versus Everton. What did you make of Ruben Amorim's debut performance?
Not great, to be honest. I feel like I said this before, like the whole new manager bounce thing. Like I don't really think that's true necessarily. United are it's a massive job, right? And it's going to take a few months or even the whole season to get them playing the way he wants them to play, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm still kind of betting against kind of United here and there when I think there's value. And I think in this game, despite Everton's poor performance against Brentford, Brentford were down to 10 men from the 41st minute or something like that. Like Everton just didn't really do anything. Brentford played quite well on a break, to be honest. So absorbed it well on the break. Could have probably won the game. Saying that, I'm not convinced of United. I mean, they went to Ipswich. Like Ipswich should have won that game, really, to be honest. The chances they had were way better than United. We're recording this just after the Europa League game. They just beat the team 3-2.
Bodo Glimt, yep.
Yeah. Not really a convincing win, was it, really, to be honest?
No, so they first half, they looked so open with a 3-4-3. Mm-hmm. The problem is when the wing-backs push high, there's so much space in behind them. And that's how Bodo Glimt scored 2 very quick-fire goals. In the second half, though, he shifted it. So he brought on Dalot, and basically we became, out of possession, we went to a 4-2-3-1. And then in possession, we stayed at a 3-4-3, and Dalot ends up drifting into kind of one of the 2 number 10 roles. So it was an interesting system formation actually worked really, really well and did give us control of the game for most of the second half. So that adaptability was good to see. I think, as you say, you have to give him time and nothing's going to sit right perfectly. So the whole strategy of opposing United, I don't think it's necessarily a losing one at all. I can definitely see the sense behind that. The one tiny thing I got from the performance against Ipswich, which I disagreed with the main consensus, everybody seemed to think Ahmad had a really good game at wing back. I don't think he had a bad game, but I don't think he's a wing back. I think he's more one of the players in the two number 10 roles.
Yeah.
I think he's a lot better going forward. And when he was chasing back, I mean, he got caught out once with the ball over the top, and then the Ipswich player cut inside him way too easily. In a bigger game against a bigger side, he will get exposed in terms of his defensive responsibilities. And hopefully that was just an experiment, because I think Ahmad does most of his best work in one of the two number 10 positions behind somebody like Højlund, who was brilliant tonight. So hopefully Højlund gets an extended run as well. In terms of this game, I'm not touching it with a barge pole. You're suggesting Everton as an official tip?
Everton +1 on Asia handicap. So again, I think that's could be nap of the weekend for me.
Because it's got a nap. I love it.
So look, if Everton draw, we win, right? If Everton lose by 1 goal, which Dye should sap his team quite tight. They shouldn't be really losing by more than 1. If they lose by 1, you get your money back. So just need to hope for a draw, basically.
Cool. Or an Everton win, who knows? So there you have it. Moving forward, next game, Spurs versus Fulham. Is Ange Postecoglou the right man for Spurs?
Big Ange out.
A lot of Tottenham fans are. A lot of them are. And, it's a very, very split fan base in terms of him right now, which is why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, not sure, to be honest. I think what they do is they lack consistency, and I think they've had an issue with that for quite a long time, right? Obviously losing to Ipswich wasn't great, to be honest. But then they go on to smash City, right? But then everyone is beating City, so who knows? I mean, I feel like they have how long are they going to give him, right? I reckon they got to give him this season, see where they finish. But I feel like the league's so tight this season.
Yeah,
I think Brentford are 4 points behind second or third.
Oh, here we go.
Well, yeah, it's mental, right? I mean, and we're sitting, 11th or 10th at the moment. So, yeah, I feel like it's going to be an exciting season. I think Liverpool have pretty much won it already. But I feel like any position after that is basically up for grabs, mainly because City have dropped off massively. Arsenal probably slowly getting into the gear. But, yeah, saying that, I feel like this could be quite an exciting game, to be honest. Fulham, I've been impressed with Fulham as much as I like to say it. And I feel like Spurs can be super inconsistent at times. So, yeah, I'm not going to have anything on this, but I think it'll be a good watch, this one.
Cool. I think there is an angle. I mean, ultimately with Spurs, I think Ange is a very set way of playing. We know he's not flexible enough. Spurs on the break are incredible. Absolutely incredible, the way they cut through Man City. And it's not the first time. You look at the way they played when they went away to Old Trafford. Yeah. They were brilliant. They were 3-0 up in no time. And ultimately, that's the sort of game that suits Spurs. Going away to a big team who are expected to take the game to them. Spurs are then extremely good at picking those sides off. That's where their strengths lie. I actually think they're so much better suited to playing away than they are at home. And I think the problem they're going to have at home is they've just had such a great result. They get back in front of an expectant fan base who are going to expect them to turn up and turn Fulham over. And Fulham are just no mugs. We just know that in terms of the way they've been this season. They've been excellent. Bad result last time out at Wolves. I mean, who saw that coming? But I think we can mark that down to a one-off. I really do. And I think, what Fulham have got going on at the moment is pretty special. I think Fulham double chance here at 2.2 is, again, a very, very reasonable price. And that is an official tip.
Okay.
Moving on to final game, Liverpool-Man City.
The main event.
Main event indeed, and a couple of bits to talk about. What did you think when you heard the news that Guardiola had signed on 2 more years?
I mean, I thought he was going to go, to be honest, end of the season, finish on a high after all these charges. But I feel like he's probably signed because they're pretty confident that nothing's going to happen to them, right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would have hoped he would have maybe moved on and taken the England job, but obviously Tuchel's taken that. It'd been good to see him see what he can do with the England team because it'd be quite incredible.
My take on Guardiola is that he's obviously been an incredible manager during his time, but there's no doubt that this current team is coming to the end of its cycle, right? And at the moment, Man City don't have that many happy medium players. They either have players that are still emerging, and the jury's out in terms of whether they're good enough, the up-and-coming players currently in City's squad, and the players that are kind of just past their best. You know, the likes of Bernardo Silva, the likes of Kovacic, the likes of
Haaland.
I wouldn't go that far. But there's a lot of players in that bracket now.
Yeah.
You know, even when Rodri gets
Walker.
back, Walker's a massive. Yeah, that's the best example of all. And there's more that just aren't immediately coming to mind. But ultimately, and Rodri, when he comes back, you know, will he be the same player? And all of these kind of questions. So it doesn't make sense to sign a 2-year deal for me, right? Either walk now, you know, doing
Yeah, but you
doing what
can't.
you've
You
done,
can't. He's not
or
going to walk on a low, is he?
well, I don't know, but ultimately, is it necessarily if a low? I mean, if you look at your entire time there, it's been a massive positive, you know, and there's still opportunities to do something this season in certain competitions and so on. But to me, the strategy is you kind of either have to walk now, or you have to commit another 5 years, because that's the sort of time you need to build the next kind of side that can go after it and win as consistently as you have been. But to
Do
sign on.
you or you spend loads of money in Christmas, right? And then set up for next season.
Yeah, I don't think financial fair play allows you to do that
I
anymore.
mean, City will find a way around it, right?
Well, maybe they will, but right now I think City are papering over the cracks. Even if they turn the season around, I mean the season's gone. I think the season's gone in the Premier League, regardless of what happens in this game. But they just look so all over the place at the moment, and to me, it looks like the entire squad needs a refresh. There's just not that many players in that City team at the moment that you can really feel that comfortable with. The midfield, especially, like you know, the options that they have there are just right now they just look flat. So I just maybe Pep signing 2 years, and maybe there's the potential for him to stay on past that. Maybe he wants to test what they can do in the next couple of years. But for me, the whole idea of him staying until 2026, 27 and then going doesn't make sense. I think it makes more sense for him to either leave now, let somebody come in and refresh it, or he sees through the next group, if you like, and molds his second team. Ferguson obviously did 3 or 4 at United. I think Pep now needs to do a second one here, and that will take longer than 2 years for me. So I don't know about the length of time he signed for, personally. Let's talk
I
about...
mean, they could. Who
Sorry,
knows? He could just end up winning every single game now and winning the league.
again, I'll give you some nice odds if you want to bet on that with me, because I don't think
Stranger things has happened, mate.
they have, but
Leicester.
I just don't have any confidence in them being able to.
We'll see.
Right.
I mean, if they want to do that, they need to win this game, right?
Can they win it?
Sorry?
Can they win it?
Based on recent form, I mean, the Champions League, they were 3-0 up and ended up drawing 3-3. That's just horrendous. I don't know, man. Liverpool looking really good. I'm just surprised though. Like, manager came in, they've just like smashed it. Usually, it takes a bit of time. You know, this that. He didn't really bring that many. Didn't really bring many players in, did they? And they looked like much better than on the Klopp. So, yeah, I feel like as long as Liverpool don't lose this, it's a bit early to say, but I think league's probably wrapped up.
I mean, I've got an official tip on this because I think that Liverpool. I think the prices are wrong. If this club with this performance levels this season wasn't called Manchester City and they were called a different name, do you think Liverpool would be even money to win this game at home?
I think the price is probably more or less there, to be honest. I actually want probably one of the few people that I think the price is probably there. But yeah, maybe Liverpool could be a tad shorter.
I think Liverpool should be more like 4-6 to win this game. The way that form has been on both sides in terms of resource, I just think Liverpool are on a bit of a different planet to anyone
When's
at the moment.
KDB going to start playing? Because he's been coming.
But he's another one, though. He's another one of that bracket I'm talking about. Like, I just think he's past his best. I don't see the same. I don't feel the same magic from KDB. It's probably the.
Yeah, because he's been injured for like the whole season.
Yeah, fine, I get it, but he's getting more and more injuries as he gets older, and they're affecting him more. There's no doubt that in his heyday he was the probably best Premier League midfielder of all time, right? But ultimately, right now he's just not. He's past his best. Well, and he's been unlucky with injuries. I agree, but the fact of the matter is he's had them. I think that Liverpool at even money at home is too good to turn down. So this is my. You've heard Lucas's nap. This is mine. Liverpool
to win, just straight up win.
Straight up win, even money, jump all over it.
Okay.
Last point I want to make on this game: Mo Salah's comments in terms of basically digging out the club in public in terms of his contract situation.
I mean, he wasn't having like a massive go. He was just stating facts, right?
He's stating facts, but he was also saying, by the way, it's December, get your asses in gear. Like, what's going on here? I mean, in 1 month's time, Mo Salah is free to talk to other clubs. It's very, very clear Salah wants to stay at Liverpool, right? That is so clear by this interview. It's not. I don't like it when a player does this when they're clearly angling away and they're trying to make like they're being forced out and stuff and put the club as the bad guy. But that's not what's happening here. Salah wants to stay at Liverpool. He wants to remain a Liverpool player. And by doing it publicly, he's trying to put more pressure on the club to come up with the deal that he deserves. And I think all power to him for doing that. And, it's up to Liverpool now. Do they want a player of Mo Salah's calibre to stay or do they not?
I guess a lot of people at the start of the season were thinking he might be past his best, right? But to go a bit slower, maybe to get into the season, but he's smashing it now. So yeah, I mean, it depends. Like with these players, like they often like try and negotiate a really long contract, right? And all financial fair play, all this stuff. Like clubs are a bit wary of doing that, especially with like an older player like that. Realistically, how many years does Salah have in him? Probably maybe another 2, or maybe who knows, maybe 3, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Remember what Chelsea did to get round financial fair play? They gave everybody 10-year contracts to basically spread payments out. So that normally works the other way. Normally, the longer contract spares you with FFP. So,
but he's like they're not going to give him a long contract, are they? That's probably what he wants.
I think it's a question of money, personally. I think Salah's asking for more money than Liverpool want to pay him.
Yeah, probably. So,
and you can't really
Saudi, innit? Saudi away.
If he leaves, that's where he'll go for sure. All right, so let's do official tips. What have you got?
So official tips, I have Brentford, Leicester, first half both need to score. I got Bournemouth.
What price is that one?
Sorry,
what price is it? Both
4 decimal. Bournemouth 0 on the Asian handicap. Price will be like around 1.8. And then have Everton +1 against United, and that's around evens.
Okay, nice. 3 tips. On my side, again, we're clashing on a couple here, but my first one is Ipswich double chance, so they can win.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I went head to head with you on that, didn't I?
So you've gone Forest there. Okay.
Yeah, Forest -3/4.
Okay, so I've got Ipswich double chance to either win or draw at 2.2. Lucas has gone the other way. I have got Wolves versus Bournemouth. Wolves to win at home at 2.7. We've got Fulham double chance, again to win or draw, away at Spurs, which is 2.2. And we've got Liverpool to beat City at home, which is my nap, which is even money. So again, my advice is do them all as singles for the most profitable strategy. However, you can combine all 4 of them in an Acca and get odds of around 21-1. So that's an option. You can also look at doing them as trebles if you like, which means it costs you a little bit more. It's actually 4 bets because it's 4 trebles within those selections. But if one of them lets you down, then we still make profit. And of course, you don't have to directly follow either of us. You might want to take snippets of what we've each said and put your own bets together. And if you do that and they win, then you owe us a beer. So please remember that.
And what's your nap then?
My nap is Liverpool. Liverpool to win at home.
Mine's Everton +1. So.
Oh, a nap head to head. I love it. Cool. All right, there we have it. Another weekend to look forward to. That should be a cracking game to watch. Enjoy it. Enjoy your betting. Play responsibly. Have fun with it. Thanks for your time. See you later.
And we'll see you before the next game week starts, is on Tuesday.
Yeah, so look out
Monday night.
Monday night pod. Look out for us early doors next week.